So this is a first of probably many videos of me, I guess, counter responding to people responding to Girl Define. So these videos are probably going to be really long, but I welcome it. Anyhow, let's go. So this is a video by a man who calls himself Mr. Atheist. Can't even take the man's username seriously. His name is Mr. Atheist. He was once a Mormon, but now he is an atheist, if you couldn't tell by his YouTube username, who made a video response to Bethany, one of the sisters at Girl Define, when she was talking about all the traits that she desires in her future husband. Now, you're probably wondering, why exactly does he have any issues with the I don't know, standards or choices that a woman would make as for the man she wants to date? They probably are really restrictive. They're probably really high. It's probably something that maybe there might be a little sexist. There might be some issue with Bethany's standards for her husband. Well, that's what we're going to be looking into today. Is it really wrong what Bethany is asking for in her husband? Well, Mr. Atheist is going to take us away.
So several years ago, actually way back when I was about 13 or 14 years old, I'm 27 now, so that was a long time ago for me, I read a book that actually challenged me to start praying for my future husband.
Yes, way long ago, about, I guess, half of her lifetime ago, she read a book that encouraged her and challenged her to pray for her future husband.
Yes, that's literally what she just said.
I actually want to know how many of you this already hit with cringe.
Oh, I know what hit them with the cringe. She read a book. Freaking nerd. What is this nerd doing? That whole reading thing. Who does that whole reading thing? Oh, you think you're so smart, don't you, Bethany, for reading? No, but I don't know why people would be cringing.
Let me explain why. At 13 or 14, her value system was already such that she is reading books, researching how to prepare for her future husband.
Yeah, that kind of makes perfect sense. Consider the following. At 13 or 14, most people go through puberty, right? And when they go through puberty, they start getting sexual thoughts and desires for the opposite sex. Now, consider the following. Now, follow my logic here, but Bethany, being a Christian and raised to expect that she will only have one sexual partner throughout the course of her lifetime, that sexual partner would be her husband. So when she became sexually mature, she started to prepare for that one sexual partner she'd have, who would be her husband. It's actually incredibly consistent and logical, actually. I'm not even sure why you're bringing this up as some kind of point against her.
At 13 or 14?
Yes, at 13 or 14, there are girls right now who wear short shorts and let their butt cheeks hang out to get male attention. Right now. That's not even a joke. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even making it up. Right now. It happens. I mean, the difference here is Bethany is thinking farther ahead into the future, but the other 13-year-old girls are thinking now.
And it's no surprise that these two don't believe in feminism or people who want to be leaders or have women who want to be leaders or have careers. Because clearly from the onset, they have not had a chance at feeling like a woman can feel any sort of value from something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, for as much as you want to be a feminist and feel good about giving women the option to do that, half the time they don't. And they end up regretting becoming lonely women that have a lot of money and power, but no one to share it with. I mean, shoot, you even have adult men who feel that way too, so.
Yeah, the thought really clicked to me, like, wow, this is a way that I can actually start serving my future husband.
Okay, gross. There's one of my super cringe buzzwords.
Wait. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be obtuse here. Clearly, your issue here is the fact that she said she wishes to serve her husband. But that's actually particularly strange to me, because I would assume that logically you'd have to have an issue with, like, BDSM in general, right? Like, you know, people or women consenting to getting their butts smacked constantly, or like being tied up and whipped and all of that. Like, you're cool with that, right? Because that's pretty illiberal if you aren't, man. You know, there's something kind of off about you, you know. Look, listen. Here's the thing. Like, you might think that I'm kind of off the pale here, but the point that I'm trying to make is that I find it particularly interesting that BDSM is a thing that is like next to never criticized when the very nature of it is domination and submission. But whenever a Christian woman says this, all of a sudden, now submission to your husband is off or weird. Like, you can submit to a dom who wants to beat your ass, but if you want to serve your husband and make his life better, that's cringeworthy. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like there should be some consistency there. Either domination and submission in general should be frowned upon and disdained, or you should accept the fact that some women want to serve men, and it's their prerogative. And that's Bethany's prerogative. I don't really see, whatever. Continue.
Serving my future husband.
Serving.
And this is also typical of, say, Mormonism. It's the concept that the greatest thing you can do is be a wife and a homemaker and serve your husband and serve your family. And I want to be clear, if a woman actually chooses and makes an informed decision to be a homemaker or a stay-at-home mom, and by the way, I would extend that to men or any other gender as well.
Yeah, dude, let's not pretend that, like, any man would have any issue with being a stay-at-home dad. We just mostly don't have the ability to, because women don't want to take care of us. Like, come on, like, most guys realize that's a pretty sweet thing. That's a pretty sweet deal.
And if that's what works for your family, then by all means do that. But I hate to think of any woman I know or care about seeing this channel and being influenced by that, giving up the idea of a career or independence or being a leader because these two don't think so, and they speak with these big bright smiles, and they are clearly they're very pretty and desirable people to emulate your life after.
My friend, I have two problems with what you just had said here. Problem number one is the fact that, I thought that I was the misogynist here, but it seems to me that you're implying that the women you care about don't have the capacity to think for themselves. That somehow they would watch a video on YouTube and instead of thinking critically about what was said, they would just automatically believe it wholesale and never again will have the capacity to think about what they want and what they don't want. Listen, just because Bethany has an opinion on the internet doesn't mean anyone has to adhere to it or even listen to it for that matter. Bethany just has an opinion. It's up to the woman in question to think about whether she wants to be a stay-at-home mom or not. You talk about influence like they can't think. And shoot, the amount of times I've been called a misogynist over the course of the time I've been on the internet, but you can say some shit like this and this isn't disrespectful to women? Come on. But then that kind of leads me to point number two. And that is the fact that you have in numerous videos that I've seen, and probably even later in this video, talk about how Bethany and her sister, Kristen, I finally learned her name, love to shame women and how Christians in general shame people. But take a listen to what you said here.
But I hate to think of any woman I know or care about seeing this channel and being influenced by that, giving up the idea of a career or independence or being a leader because these two don't think so.
My friend, it sounds to me that you are trying to dissuade women from becoming stay-at-home moms, or dissuade women from being homemakers, or dissuade women from giving up on the path of being, stay-at-home wife and all of that jazz because you don't think that it's a good thing and you are actively trying to discourage them from doing it. My friend, if you are actively trying to discourage women from being homemakers, then you are ipso facto shaming them because you don't think it's a good idea. Dumbass.
I mean, I'm addressing that they certainly must be very pretty. I gotta tell you though, that I look like I contribute on Fox News look, it always makes people at least 50% uglier to me now.
Because screw Fox News, I guess.
Okay, let's just push through. Let's try and get to her list of things she's praying for.
Even before I know him, I can be praying for him, praying for his character, praying for his safety, his relationship with God. I can actually serve him.
Oh, that surf thing is so fucking gross.
Paddles, whips, mouth gags, BDSM, dude. Gay pride parades. I bet you're not uncomfortable by any of that. I know for a fact you're not uncomfortable with any of that. I would put money that you have no issue with those things. So I really don't understand how somehow a woman serving a man becomes cringeworthy now.
in this way. And I thought that that was such a cool thought. So
No additional notes here. I'm just cringing worse.
I'm going to share with you the specific things that I've been praying for over the last several years. And then I'm going to challenge you, as you hear mine, to think to yourself, what things could I be praying for my own future husband?
You know, the fact that she's extending out the challenge also shows some level of cognitive dissonance to me, if you will.
I don't think you know what that word means.
She and this channel definitely condescend to women who want to be leaders and who want to be anything but homemakers. But she and her co-host, they've written a book, they have this channel, they have a career.
As far as I understand it, that career mostly takes place at their home.
And by issuing out challenges and trying to be the example for others, what do you think a leader is?
You know, honestly, I'm not even entirely sure if Bethany and her sister Kristen have a disdain for women in leadership positions or anything of the like. That just kind of sounds like a bunch of projection to me, but, you know.
Again, we'll talk about this more as we review some of the other videos, but I genuinely think these two are enjoying a status of privilege and attention that they do not advocate for other women.
Brother, point number one, they're blonde white women. Of course they have a status and privilege that like other people don't have. I mean, blonde white women are like the most coveted and most protected class of human beings like in the world. I mean, that's just number one. But number two, come on, like you gotta think for a second here, dude. If these women are encouraging you to become a stay-at-home mom, and it's a privilege to be a stay-at-home mom or to be a homemaker because your husband either one makes enough money in order for you to do so, or two is willing to work hard enough to let you do that, then that would mean that you are privileged. If they're trying to encourage women to do that, they are trying to encourage a privilege that they share.
I'm talking about character qualities, qualities that you would desire in a godly future husband.
Oh, a godly future husband. This video is officially not advice for me.
I mean, are you gay? Are you a homosexual? Because you're clearly not a woman. Yeah, I'm going to assume your gender right now. You're clearly not a woman. At what point were you ever the target audience of her video?
So here's my list of qualities and prayers that I'm praying for my future husband, and I want to share them with you. Number one is that he would not have a love for the world.
Okay, so I think she's talking about worldliness, the concept of like wanting to appear well off or appear rich or see value in like nice cars and these things that are status symbols. I hope that's what she means.
She's talking about being materialistic, basically putting in way too much, dare I say, value in material things, way too much value in the things that people of the world who are not Christians or not religious place value into, basically sex, kind of like drugs, basically spending a lot of money on different like clothing things to make yourself look good, basically focusing too much on the appearance of looking good rather than actually being good, or focusing way too much on your outer projection of the world and people's, opinion of you, rather than the spirit and the core of who you are. This is basically what she's saying. I mean, she didn't put it as detailed as I did, but, I mean, if you think for all of 10 seconds, you could figure it out.
And by the way, success is often representative of ambition. And I see value in trying to take things you've achieved and represent that by having a little better stuff.
No offense to you, my friend. I mean, I'm glad you see value in all of that, but, so Bethany doesn't. And it's her prerogative to not. Just because you see value in it doesn't mean that she does. So, I mean, pardon my French, but who gives a shit?
It's a personal reward system that obviously can get excessive and can make a person a huge douche.
So you mean to tell me that you understand what she's trying to communicate, and yet you're still going to try to form some argument again? Okay, okay.
But I'm not sure that I would prioritize this as the number one thing over, like, say, here's my number one thing.
Let me stop you right there, and let me just say that literally there's not even any indication that this is the most important trait that Bethany has. It's just the first thing that she said. I don't think she said that it was the most important thing, so...
I want a person who can communicate openly and freely and is interested in my open and free communication with them.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that doesn't even sound kind of like like it's a contradiction to anything Bethany said. It doesn't even sound like it's not even something that Bethany would want or like wouldn't want. I mean, you could still have that same trait in the same person that Bethany just described.
Who, when we disagree on something, we can discuss it and come to at least understanding each other, even if we continue to disagree.
Yeah, dude, and I don't think that Bethany would disagree with that. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Which is why I don't understand why you're posing it as if it was a counterpoint to her.
That's my number one. I'm sure it's just your number two. Let's see.
Well, maybe it is her number two, but it would still be on the list. Like, what's the problem?
That's my number one. I'm sure it's just your number two. Let's see.
Number 2 is that he would think of others above himself.
Oh, God forbid she asks for someone that's kind. I wonder how awful and terrible that trait is, right? We all know women like assholes, apparently.
By the way, for a lot of people, the concept of having love for the world is that second concept, would think of others before themselves.
Then that would just mean that we're talking about two different things, but it wouldn't make Bethany wrong. Well, it would make someone would have to be wrong ipso facto. Or at the very least, there's some fundamental miscommunication. But no matter how you slice it, Bethany is talking about someone that is kind-hearted and thinks about other people and wants to help other people. I mean, sure, you might be able to say that in a different way, but it doesn't change what she's trying to communicate, now does it?
However, this is another thing that we are taught by people who are not psychologists, who want to idealize the concept of a relationship, that everything needs to be about everyone else and not yourself. However, if you are a little selfish and you take care of yourself, and especially take that selfishness and turn it into self-mental care.
Yeah, you know, buddy, and I don't disagree with you, I just don't see... I feel like I'm going to be repeating myself a lot now at this point, but that just is not a counter argument to what Bethany just said. You can be that same person. You can still put others before yourself and think about their well-being, as well as taking time out to make sure that you are a mentally healthy person. I do that shit all the time. I am that person. I mean, it might be anecdotal, but I mean, I exist, so...
Chances are that is going to make you a much better companion to somebody. So her number 2 is putting other people above himself. I'm actually going to go with prioritize his mental health for themselves and their partner over anything else.
No, and that's all cool and everything. I don't really see why you're making this a competition. Like this, I mean, Bethany's just describing what she wants. I don't know why you're competing with her as if like your list is better. I mean, it's different, but it's not better. It's just, you know...
Number 3 is that he would guard his mind.
Guard his mind from what?
The lust of the world, women trying to make him cheat, evil thoughts that might make him become a cruel bastard that abuses her. I don't really know, dude. I mean, but let's just argue in good faith. Excuse me. Can we at least try to argue in good faith?
You know, I'm actually going to say that my number 3 is the same. However, I would bet my left leg that it really isn't. Because by guard their mind, I am going to say I want my significant other to be a skeptic, to be a person who doesn't accept anything without a really good reason for accepting or believing it. I'm going to say that yours is the opposite. You want him to guard his mind from the world and never question his love of God or his belief in God.
Now, you know, let's work on that assumption. Let's assume that that's exactly what she means. Would that not be her prerogative to want that? I mean, what's wrong with that? She wants a guy who loves the Lord and will love her. I don't really see the issue here.
But I prioritize myself and my partner believing as many true things as possible and as few false things as possible, to steal a line from Dillahunty. So our number 3s are the same and also couldn't be any more different. Number 4?
4 is that he would be committed to spiritual growth.
Once again, we actually have similar number 4s. However, I don't believe in a literal spirit. However, those things that you're happening when you think you're having spiritual growth, which is really more of an emotional and intellectual introspection, I definitely want my significant other to have that.
So, this all seems like a roundabout way of saying that you agree with Bethany. And it would appear that the only thing you actually just don't like about Bethany is the fact that she believes that there's a God and you don't. Because from where I'm standing, nothing that you've said is a counter to anything that she said, and you have constantly said that you agree with her.
but by recognizing it for what it actually is, won't come up with stupid conclusions like, God really wants me to make sure my wife behaves. Once again, borrowing from concepts of Mormonism, perhaps it's a little different in your Christianity.
Brother, you've got to be kidding me 6 ways to Sunday. You mean to tell me that you don't recognize the difference between Mormons and Christians? Yeah, okay, you know what, maybe you don't. But then I have to ask, if you don't recognize the difference between Mormons and Christians, why are you projecting the feelings you have on the Mormons onto Christians as if they're the same thing when they're not? Maybe you're just too ignorant to realize that they're not the same thing, but if that is the issue and if that's the problem, well, then you should be able to rest easy knowing now that Christians are not Mormons. They're not even kind of remotely close to the same. Not at all. When you really start looking into what Mormonism is.
But once again, I don't think so.
Well, you would be wrong, so...
Number 5 is that he would have a 1 Corinthians 13 love.
That's just simply that list of love is kind, it's patient, it does not envy, does not puff itself up, whatever that whole list is. It's been a while since I've studied. There are probably a great many things that I agree upon from that list, but I think for my number 5, I would switch in. I want somebody who loves me for me and not what they think I could be, but in addition, we help each other develop and each other grow without expectation, but in fact, that is the natural consequence of our relationship.
You do realize that you literally just said the same thing? Okay, fine. You didn't literally just said the same thing, but you just described... You just... You know... You know, sometimes I do these video responses, and I just am kind of, I don't know, taken aback when I break these videos down, and I'm just like, did you not think about the words that came out of your mouth when you recorded this video? Did at no point in time did you ever stop to realize that you're actually just intellectually breaking down what that scripture was trying to communicate in the first place? You didn't even realize that. And the reason why you didn't realize that, and if you ever stumble across this video, is because you're too focused on disdaining religion and disdaining God and the just very concept of Christianity to really recognize that you actually agree with this woman a lot more than you disagree with her, and it's almost not even a point to respond to her.
Now, for the record, I'm not actually making a list for a marriage that I think is actually going to happen for me. Having a husband, wife, significant other, or a family is not a high priority in my life. I am choosing career in my activism over anything else. And I'm not saying that that won't change or that I won't find that person that I want to try and have some kind of family with. But if I did, me who doesn't have that priority, I think has a much better list than you do.
Well, point number 1, you're just being arrogant. You just think that you're better because you think that you're better for whatever reason. But point number 2, it's not a fucking competition. Like, that's what she wants. And that's what you want. It's not, you're not competing against each other. Like, I have the better significant other than you do. I don't it's not. Okay, I'm getting befuddled. I can't even finish my statements, man. You're frying me brain. You're frying me brain out, man. Can't even think for a second anymore. I'm just like, ugh, what the bloody fuck are you talking about half the time? I'm just, my mind's over here and it's over there and I can't even get words out my mouth anymore. Oh, just wrap us up.
So as I've been praying these things, it's really been convicting to me, like, wow, if I am praying for these things in a future husband, what kind of woman should I be? Because a guy like this is going to be looking for a certain type of girl to come alongside him and support him and carry out this vision.
Hold on. Run that one back for me now.
So as I've been praying these things, it's really been convicting to me, like, wow, if I am praying for these things in a future husband, what kind of woman should I be?
Is that self-awareness? Is that woman self-aware? Is that woman about to say that she needs to improve and make sure that she is a good person to be with that good man? No, I don't know. There's no way she's about to say that. Women don't take personal responsibility. That's... No.
So as I've been praying these things, it's really been convicting to me, like, wow, if I am praying for these things in a future husband, what kind of woman should I be? Because a guy like this is going to be looking for a certain type of girl to come alongside him and support him and carry out this vision.
Wow. I just can't. I'm. I just can't even. I just am. I listen, man. I just. I just found. Dare I say a unicorn out in the wild now. You know how MGTOW red pillars are always like NAWALT, or AWOLT, all women are like that, and they're always are talking about like finding your unicorn. Obviously, the metaphor being that you can't find a woman like that doesn't exist. Honestly, man, like who knows? I don't know Bethany personally. Bethany may not be a unicorn. Maybe she is, or maybe she isn't. But the mere fact that she would even say, like, I need to improve myself and become better, is just a strong personality quality, just in its own right. Just in its own right. The fact that she would even say that alone, the self-awareness there, she's earned my respect. Okay, like this is why the world needs people like Bethany, and this is why I will defend her as much as I possibly can, because that alone right there, that's quality. That's quality human. That's being a quality person, let alone being a quality human. She said, if I want these traits, if I want X, Y, and Z, if I want a good partner, I myself must also be a good partner to earn them. I don't even see how you can even be upset with that. Man, that's inspiring right there. That's some good quality stuff. Let's see how Mr. Atheist ruins it though.
So I challenge you to make a list for your future husband of qualities that you desire, godly character qualities that you desire in a future husband, but don't stop there. I want you to take that list, just like I have mine, and then I want you to turn it on yourself. And if you're praying that he would, like me, not have a love for the world.
Forget the prayer stuff. I'm not opposed to, and I've even encouraged people to make lists about the things that are like absolutely musts and would be nice kinds of things about a relationship they'd want to be in.
Okay, so here we go again. You start off by saying you actually agree with her now. Okay, well, seems to be a common trend in this video of yours, but go on. Just go on.
And definitely be introspective, not about whether or not you deserve them, but whether or not your behavior and the things you value are actually compatible with a list like you've made.
Well, as with everything you've said in this video, brother, that is not a contradiction. You can definitely ponder whether or not you deserve to be with a good person, as well as thinking about whether or not you are indeed compatible with them. In fact, you haven't even argued about why you shouldn't even consider why you shouldn't or should not deserve a good person to be with. I think you should absolutely consider that type of thing. Do you deserve to be with someone that helps improve your life? Are you going to be worthwhile to that person as well? Are you guys going to be working together, or are you just going to be absorbing their good faith and absorbing all of their good qualities, just using them to bolster yourself up? In other words, are you going to be a manipulator that just keeps this person around so they make you feel good about you, or are you actually going to be a life partner to them that helps them improve as much as they help you improve? It's basically, the long and short of it is, are you actually going to help them and be in a committed relationship with them, or are you just going to be a manipulative bastard that just uses them to your own ends? I guess I could have just said that.
And actually commit to yourself that you are worth those things. And by prioritizing your mental health and making sure that you are in a good place to be in a relationship, you are going to have better relationships.
And once again, brother, I don't disagree with you. I just don't see how. I don't even think that Bethany would disagree with you. So I don't understand why the counter argument is basically what I'm trying to say here.
Or you can throw your hands up in the air, realize you're not worth anybody, make this list, then try and make these giant changes under the guise of making yourself worth somebody.
Okay, I mean, your tone implies that there's some issue here, except you haven't actually said what the issue here, so I don't see what the problem is. Self-improvement is not a good thing? In fact, you just said prioritizing your mental health would be them attempting to self-improve in some manner. So what is the issue here, brother? I'm starting to think that you don't have one.
And pray to Sky Daddy that'll give you a land daddy that you can serve and glorify.
BDSM, I'm just gonna say that. BDSM.
then I want you to challenge yourself to do the same thing. I want you to challenge yourself to work on that quality that you would not have a love for the world, or that you would think that he would think of others above himself. I challenge you to turn that on yourself and challenge yourself to think of others above yourself. Because if you're desiring these things in a future husband, you need to be working on it and building those qualities in your own life.
I mean, nothing. I just, I love it, man. I don't even see where the issue even is. I tell you the God honest truth.
Then you need to be working on it and building those qualities in your own life. And it's a great time because as single girls, we have a little bit more time. We're not, in a relationship with our husband right then. So it's the best time to start building those character qualities before you actually get there.
There's a lot of core things about what she's saying and about this video that aren't wrong. The problem is those things that are.
Yeah, but brother, you have made no attempt to actually explain how anything she said was really even wrong. Most of your counter arguments, lack thereof really, is just you saying that what you think is right because you think it's right. And then you just are kind of smug and just kind of mock what she says with your tone of voice rather than actually explaining why X, Y, and Z isn't a bad thing. Why it is or isn't. Basically, you're not really arguing against her. You're just mocking her. I don't know. Why didn't I just say that? So, that's pretty much the end of his video, and subsequently, the end of mine. So, I guess, in conclusion, I want to say this. I don't have any issue with atheists, and I'm pretty sure a lot of atheists probably never would have made it to this point in the video, but, hopefully you do. I don't have any issue with atheists, or atheism, and all of that. I do honestly, personally feel that that's your prerogative. You can feel however you feel. I'm not making these videos against atheism, and I'm not trying to make these videos to show you guys that you should believe in God. I don't want anyone to think that. And I've never even broached the topic of whether there is or isn't a God in this video. The point of making this video, and all the other videos I'm going to be making about this topic in the future, is about specifically tabling your aggression against religion and thinking critically about what's actually being said, rather than being frustrated and upset at whatever religious problem that happened to you in the past. Obviously, me saying it to you one time in one video isn't going to automatically make you not feel bad about your Mormon or your Christian or whatever religious upbringing you had. But hopefully, you'll start to actually think that maybe just because someone believes in God or is religious doesn't mean that they're stupid or dumb, and it doesn't mean that you shouldn't take anything they say into consideration. Everything Bethany said was pretty reasonable within her own right. And if you stop and you honestly consider and think about it, you'll realize there's a lot of stuff that's reasonable and true in that. And there's a lot of stuff like that in a lot of Girl Defiance content. Now, this doesn't mean you believe everything they say wholesale. No, you never stop thinking critically about anything you hear. You should always think about it. But you shouldn't dismiss it offhand simply because of where their background is or where they're coming from. And you especially shouldn't dismiss it based off of your previous encounters with religion. You got to take people as they are sometimes. I mean, heuristics, stereotypes, they're all true for a reason, and you all need them. But when you're dealing with individuals, you got to treat them like they're individuals, and you got to treat ideas as if they have some merit until you think about them and you defeat them logically. Mr. Atheist here clearly did not think about anything Bethany actually said, and when he did, he comes to find out he actually agrees with her a lot more than he disagrees with her. And honestly, I think that's going to be the truth for a lot of atheists who will listen to Christians talk about their life, rather than it's going to be the opposite. So that being said, I hope you guys got something out of today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button, and shoot, go and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below, and as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.